Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you guys are new, welcome. My name is Dina. So today I wanted to talk about what I don't like about the makeup industry. And I just want to start with a disclaimer that this video is not to bash any sort of makeup companies or anybody who works in the makeup industry in any way. I worked in the makeup industry for a while and Sephora treated me very well, and there's a lot of things that I loved about working for Sephora. But there are some things about the industry as a whole that just really bothered me and got under my skin. And there's certain things that just ethically weren't agreeing with me. These are some of the reasons why I kind of left the makeup industry and why my interest in it kind of, dissipated a little bit. And I still love makeup and I still love cosmetics, but not to the extent that I used to. Hey guys, so I just want to interrupt the video for 1 second just because there are two really big issues with the makeup industry that I actually did not mention in this video, and I just want you guys to know that I haven't forgotten about them. There are definitely issues that I see and I do want to talk about on my channel at some point, but I think they're very big issues that honestly require a video for each issue. And those issues are one, animal cruelty and animal testing in the makeup industry. I feel like I need to educate myself more, especially with makeup from drugstore, because I know a lot of drugstore brands still test on animals, and I'm not super familiar with drugstore brands just because I worked at Sephora for 4 years. Although, I mean, there's brands at Sephora that still do test on animals, not as many, but it's definitely a topic that needs to be talked about, so I will speak about that at some point. And the other really big issue in the makeup industry still is obviously, shade inclusivity. There's still a lot of companies, brands out there that refuse to extend their shade range for women and men of color, and this is an issue that I definitely did see quite a bit working in the makeup industry, and it's still upsetting, and it's definitely a topic that I want to talk about on my channel at some point. But again, I feel like that topic is so big and there's so much to it that it also needs its own video. So I just wanted to give you guys a heads up. You won't be hearing about those two issues in this video, but I haven't forgotten about them. I will be speaking about them on another video at another time. Yeah, anyways, I'll let you guys get back to the video. A few years ago, honestly, I was all makeup. I loved makeup. I'd watch nothing but makeup videos on YouTube. I love watching, haul videos. I love watching, people unbox their PR packages. I watched all of that, and I loved makeup at my work. I used to do crazy makeup every single day, and yeah, I loved it. And I kind of got away from that, and I think I just got really sick of the wasteful culture. Now, the makeup industry is very big on pushing new stuff all the time, and they definitely market makeup in a way that, they make people believe and they make people think that they need every single new thing. And it starts to create this, buy, and buy more than you actually need culture. And I think that's a really big problem. And you see a lot of this with all the beauty bloggers. Honestly, they have way more products than they actually need. And a lot of it goes to waste because by the time they get to it, it's already expired because they get so much makeup on the daily. And I'm not bashing anyone. Obviously this is how a lot of people make a living. They test makeup for a living. But there is a side to it that's very wasteful, and it kind of upset me. And the more I saw it, the more it bothered me. And I very rarely watch makeup videos anymore. I just don't find myself super interested. And I think one of the biggest problems is that brands are literally pushing out products way faster than ever before. Usually, in the past, when a new product was created, they would take a lot of time developing, creating the best quality product. And I'm not saying that there aren't good quality products coming out there, but companies are throwing out things quicker than you can ever comprehend. I feel like the biggest example are makeup palettes or eyeshadow palettes. Eyeshadow palettes come out so consistently. There's basically a new launch for almost every single brand. It seems like every month or every couple of months. And it's just so ridiculous because there's people that think that they need to get all of it. And I saw a lot of this. I saw a lot of clients, they would come in honestly multiple times a week, and who needs to be at Sephora twice a week? Come on, I don't know, get a hobby or something. It's a little bit concerning, but you'd see that, and they'd always be buying every single new thing that came in. And I get you have a passion for it, but I bet they use that palette maybe once or twice before they just threw it away in a drawer, forgot about it, and moved on to the next palette. It's just so wasteful. And I just really wish that people would take the time to really think on a purchase before they buy it, decide if it's something that they're going to get a lot of use of, and then buy it. And that it's that kind of toxic culture that really started to turn me off of the makeup industry. Another thing that really bothered me working in retail for makeup is I would see a crazy amount of returns, and you'd get the clients that would come in multiple times a week, constantly buy like crazy amounts of skincare and makeup, and clearly not putting much thought into what they're buying. People just buy for the heck of trying things, and then they end up returning like 90% of it each time, but they've tried everything, so we can't resell it. It has to be basically shipped to, I guess they bring it to some sort of building where they basically just burn it, which is extremely wasteful and horrible for the environment. So whenever I saw people return products like on the weekly basis, it just got so under my skin. Just like spend some more time thinking about your purchases instead of being so wasteful. And that really bothered me. And I think that's just a big problem with the makeup industry as a whole. Honestly, the makeup industry in general just creates so much waste. It's so bad. And that is something that I couldn't ignore, and I couldn't just like, you know, see on a daily basis anymore. I just had to get out of the retail environment because it was really bothering me. Also just really bad for your wallet. Like there's so many people that just spend so much money that they shouldn't be spending or don't have on makeup that they're going to use a couple times and then forget about. It's just so ridiculous to me. But the next thing that really bothered me was how contouring was taught. And again, I'm not trying to bash Sephora or any sort of companies, but I think the way we teach makeup needs to change in certain ways. Now, this wasn't for everything, but I went to a workshop and I was really disturbed with how contouring was taught. Basically, we learned about the different face shapes, and then we were taught how to contour each face shape, which, yes, like, I think that's fine or whatever. But I think we should be taught to contour to accentuate or bring out the beautiful features in each face, rather than what we were taught was to contour so that we get the ideal face shape. And we were taught that the ideal face shape is an oval face shape, which these beauty standards again come from like the media, it comes from magazines, it comes from that kind of place, and it's not correct. And I don't think the oval face shape should be taught as the ideal face shape. I think all face shapes are beautiful, and every single person has a unique face shape that suits them, and we shouldn't be contouring to get an ideal oval face shape. So this is something that like really, you know, I did agree with, and when I was at the workshop, I was like, really, we're teaching people this? And it really bothered me. So that was another thing. And it's not just obviously Sephora teaching us. I think this is something that makeup artists in general across, you know, the makeup industry are taught. And I think we definitely need to take a closer look at what we're teaching women and men, and, you know, what we're teaching them in terms of beauty ideals, because a lot of these beauty ideals I feel like are very wrong and very damaging, very dangerous in terms of, you know, people's self-esteem, and I don't think we should be teaching people that. I will always believe and forever, you know, advocate that makeup is to make everyone feel beautiful and enhance their unique beauty, and I don't think we should ever market makeup or teach people that makeup is to be used to look like somebody else, because that is a very dangerous thing to teach people. It's not healthy at all. So then my next point is that in general, I found working in the beauty industry was just very, you know, materialistic, very focused on outer beauty, and I think inner beauty is something that we need to focus on more in general. And it wasn't always like this, but in some ways the beauty industry can be very toxic in that way. And I remember, I mean, the one thing I did really like about my job as a consultant is that when I had clients that were very self-conscious and, you know, open up to me, I can, you know, have a talk with them and really like try to tell them that they're beautiful for like the way they are, and I really liked that aspect of my job. Like I had this one girl, she couldn't have been older than like 16, and she wanted a full coverage foundation to cover her freckles. Her skin, mind you, was absolutely perfect. Like her skin was beautiful, and she had these freckles and she was self-conscious with the freckles. I'm like, okay, I'll absolutely match you. I just want to tell you though, I think your freckles are absolutely beautiful and I don't think you need to cover them up. And I would honestly just opt for like a tinted moisturizer or BB cream or something like that, but I'll absolutely match you if that's what you're looking for. But I just want you to know how beautiful you are. And that was one thing that I really loved about my job, is that I could, you know, tell people that, because there's a lot of people that are very self-conscious and stuff, and that's another dangerous side of the beauty industry, is the perfectionism. And we see a lot of very unrealistic things on Instagram, for example. And I had a lot of young girls come in and, you know, say things like, oh my god, the girls on Instagram are so perfect, or girls on YouTube, the beauty bloggers are so beautiful and perfect. And I had to explain to them, I'm like, that's not real. Like, it's makeup, it's the magic of the camera, first of all. Like, I've filmed videos where my skin was not at its best, but as soon as I put my studio lights on, my skin looks like glowy and gorgeous. And honestly, like, studio lights do wonders for your complexion. It honestly does. And it also makes cakey makeup look good too, because some cakey makeup that a lot of these beauty bloggers do would not look good in real life and, you know, regular lighting. It's just way too thick for everyday life. But as soon as you put studio lights on, that looks amazing. So I had to like always try and explain to these young girls, like, that's not real, that's not reality. You're beautiful the way you are. And yeah, that's just something I always wanted to focus on. And I kind of realized that I don't really want to work in an industry that promotes perfectionism so much and is so focused on outer beauty. I wanted to work in an industry or work towards something that focuses more on inner beauty and, you know, bettering ourselves. And I mean, that's one of the reasons I started this YouTube channel, right? And yeah, I think we definitely need to balance those things out in our life more. And I think there's definitely a very toxic side to the beauty industry that is damaging a lot of young girls and boys today. So I think it's very important to talk about. When it came down to it, I felt like I started feeling a little bit empty in the makeup industry. It wasn't as fulfilling anymore. And one of the big revelations I had was when I came back from Asia a few years ago. I went to Southeast Asia, Laos to be exact. I went to an elephant conservation center. I did some volunteer work there, and I also did some volunteer work with kids at a local school. I went to like a rice plantation. I learned all about that. We did some of the work on the rice plantation too, which was really neat. Honestly, there's so much to the trip, I can't even explain it all right now, but it was a very eye-opening trip. I think this is one of the big turning points in my life when I realized these people in Asia, they had so little. Like, I'm talking, you know, we drove by on these dirt roads and these people had these houses literally made of wood, and they'd have like a little shop right outside their house where they'd sell things to make money. And you know, they had barely anything. And when we went to the rice plantation, the man that was showing us around, he was just so passionate about growing rice. Like, this was his living, this was his whole world. And he had nothing more than a blanket on a wooden floor for his bed. And again, so simple. These people had very little, but they're so happy. I'm talking like some of the nicest people I have ever met in my life. And to have so little and be so grateful and so happy, it was just very eye-opening that when I came back from that trip back home to my job at Sephora, it's just like, it was very eye-opening. And it's like makeup almost just didn't seem to matter so much anymore. And eventually I kind of got into it again a little bit, but my eyes have been opened to a completely different world, honestly, where I couldn't look at it the same anymore. Here I was working in a world that was just so materialistic, and there was honestly a lot of greed. Like, people just want everything. It's just like want. It's just so much materialism, whereas there's a whole other world where people are just so grateful for the little belongings that they have. They don't have a lot, but they're so grateful for what they have. Honestly, it just changed my mindset. Basically, that's all I wanted to talk about, guys. Again, I'm saying this in the utmost respect for my previous coworkers, for anyone that's in the makeup industry. There are some very talented artists out there that are passionate for what they do, and I think that is amazing, and I love it, and I love anything that's creative. But I think there are a lot of issues surrounding the makeup industry in general, and they do get to me, and it is the reason, well, one of the reasons why I left the makeup industry myself. I feel like I grew out of it in a way. And I just wanted to talk about that today. But anyways, I'd love to hear your opinions below. Make sure to leave a comment. Let me know what you think. And if you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. I would truly appreciate it. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button, join the family, and click that bell notification just to let you know when I've uploaded a new video. I hope you guys have an amazing day, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.